Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Maddie Paul. Inside the Newsroom, we bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area. And the best part of all, we bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about these trending stories. So you get a behind-the-scenes perspective about how our reporters, our producers, and even our meteorologists put together the stories that you see every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. First, to start with our trending story, it's always weather. Right, Scott?
It
has to be weather every single time. Scott, I thought we were coming into this weekend starting off cool, but it's going to get hot, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Today will be a hot day. How was your weekend?
It was wonderful. I was in southern Minnesota, so I avoided all the South Dakota weather. But for me in southern Minnesota, it was a little humid, but there was a lot of wind. So most of the bugs were gone. But I did get bit up a little bit by mosquitoes.
Yeah, I've noticed that they're out. They really are. They're out, and they're out to get you, too.
I know, and it's always the worst spots. Like, I have one on my shoulder right now. I had one on my knee, but that one's gone.
So do you have to go up to, like, the corner of the wall to get it?
Yeah, or even this chair sometimes. If you see me, like, leaning back like this, now you know why. I'm just inadvertently scratching a little.
That's okay. Well, that's what happens.
You got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere. But
do.
the wind helps. I will say that. I'm very grateful for the wind because of that.
And, you know, our weekend, weather-wise, we were cool on Saturday. Temperatures in the 70s in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND, a little bit warmer yesterday. Numbers returning to the 80s. And you mentioned it. Yeah, today, hot and humid. We'll have temperatures in the 80s, 90s. A couple of 100s will show up in central and western South Dakota.
Ooh.
And then when you combine the dew point temperature, the amount of humidity or moisture that's in the air, it gives you that heat index.
Oh, so I'm going to be like sweating and then also sticky.
Yes. It's just one of those days. You know, we're already starting that way, too, with our dew point temperatures in the middle 60s this morning. They'll continue to go up. Wouldn't be surprised if we do get a couple of areas in the lower 70s. Now, not only for today, but we can see that again tomorrow in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND. For today, that heat index may approach 100 in Yankton, 96 in Sioux Falls and Huron, 92 in Aberdeen. Now, notice central and western South Dakota, the humidity, the dew point temperatures will not be as high, so the heat index really close to what the actual air temperature will be really doesn't factor in the humidity if there isn't much to factor in. So more or less, that's that dry heat that they will have in central or western South Dakota. Now, along with this, we'll have to watch for chances of severe weather. As we do have cooler temperatures on the way, we'll watch for thunderstorms to develop. Now, this is our outlook for tomorrow. Notice how it does have that slight risk for severe weather, highlighted in yellow. That covers eastern South Dakota, anywhere from Watertown, south and southwest. That is that slight risk for severe weather. As we break it down, think hail and wind will be the main threat out of any storms that do develop. And it should be an interesting setup, too, because I think we'll have southerly winds in eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa throughout the day. South winds ahead of this cold front. That's where I think we'll have dry skies throughout the majority of the day for tomorrow until we hit maybe the late afternoon and evening. I would say after 5 o'clock, then we could start to see things bubble up in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND. That will happen a little sooner along the James River Valley and areas to the west. But there's your risk for wind, highlighted in yellow at 15%. Hail risk as well at 15%. Again, you take a point anywhere in yellow, 25-mile radius around that point, and you run that 15% risk that any storm that develops may have that certain severe weather aspect to it, whether it be wind or hail. Enough spin in the atmosphere that we might be able to get an isolated tornado warning out of this. This is for tomorrow, and that's setting up across south-central South Dakota, north-central Nebraska. So this is with that cold front that's moving through. Now, behind that front, of course, temperatures will be cooler. Look at these numbers. This is Wednesday afternoon. Now, this is one of the coldest models that I've found.
This is the coldest?
This is the coldest, okay? So it has afternoon temperatures on Wednesday in the 60s. I would not be surprised if those temperatures, when we hit midnight, will end up being warmer than those numbers in the afternoon. So I want to say Wednesday afternoon. I don't want to necessarily say high temperatures for Wednesday, but Wednesday afternoon because of the clouds, because we'll still have periods of rain. We'll have northerly winds. We'll have temperatures in the 60s, widespread 60s during the afternoon. And you may notice that green that's showing up across western and northwestern South Dakota. That's labeled as temperatures in the 50s. I still think we might be able to sneak into the lower 70s in southeastern South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota. So that's sweater weather for you, isn't it?
Coat weather. Where is my fall coat?
Really?
Do you have two different coats, like a fall coat and then like a winter coat? Okay, maybe I should clarify. A fall coat is like if there's a little bit of
if it's
wind.
cool.
Yeah, if it's cool out. But then the winter coat is
if it's cold.
Snow. Yeah.
Okay, I do.
Okay.
The
fall and winter coat. Is that a
right.
Midwest thing?
It's not that often that I bring out that heavy duty winter coat. It really isn't.
With the big hood.
It doesn't have that big of a hood. I'll throw a hat on.
Okay.
I don't want to do that often. I don't want to ruin, what I have going. Right?
The dew? Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Windy days, I don't like windy days.
I don't either, because then I have curly hair, so my hair gets like insane. Humidity, Scott. This is what we should talk about next time you're on. Is like,
sure.
Can you give me some hair tips for humidity? Because it just goes, poof, just big and
Hair
out.
tips
Yeah.
for you? Just enjoy what you have.
Just enjoy what you.
Okay? That's my tip for the day.
Just be grateful.
Be thankful for what you have.
Just what you have. Well, I'm loving the weather. I think the 50 degrees is kind of insane to think about right now, especially in like the western part of the state. Hasn't that one been heating up a little bit more than the east, or am I incorrect?
Well, no. Western South Dakota will have temperatures in the 100s for today, and I think those 50s will be into the higher elevations of the hills. And again, those are afternoon temperatures and, cloud-covered north winds, periods of rain. Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Wednesday ends up.
I know. Well, I'm going to enjoy today. I think today would be a good sunbathing day, maybe body of water, be by a pool, a lake.
Any way to cool off, air conditioning inside if you don't have a chance to get outside because you might think it's too buggy.
And I would think that. Especially if I'm by water. See, anytime I complain about something, there's always something more, right, Scott?
Well, I know there is. I'm learning more and more about you.
Well, Scott, is there anything else you think our viewers should know? Maybe less about me complaining, more about the weather?
I can't wait to be on next time.
So I can complain some more.
Take more notes. I need to take more notes.
Scott, thank you for joining me at the
you're
digital
welcome.
desk.
No problem.
To complain. And still to come on Inside the Newsroom, we got an exclusive one-on-one interview with the dad of a now MLB draft pick from over the weekend. So stay with us. We're going to have that interview coming up next after the break. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Sioux Falls native Marcus Phillips was selected for the Boston Red Sox with the 33rd overall pick in the 2025 MLB draft, and this was the reaction that they had over the weekend. Here's what he had to say after the pick.
Growing up a Yankees fan, I thought I might feel a little different about it, but man, just the opportunity to go and play, the dream that I had since I was a young kid. I could care less who it was for. Obviously now I'm extremely excited to be playing for the Red Sox, but I'm just looking forward to what's next.
The Roosevelt High School alum played for Tennessee in college, where he started 19 games over the last 2 seasons. And Phillips gathered with family and friends to watch the draft, and he said that it was a very emotional day for him. And our Ian Sachs got to have an exclusive one-on-one interview with the draftee's dad, Steve, right before the pick happened. Here's what he had to say.
Steve, what has been the emotions and the feeling around the Phillips household the last couple of days?
It's been very exciting. There's some nerves going on, but the nerves have kind of come on the last couple of hours. I think for the last couple of days, it's just building excitement.
The day's finally here. You mentioned how the nerves have been building the last couple of hours. What are you feeling right now?
A little nervous. I'm more nervous because I know he's nervous, but my wife and I, we kind of get this feeling when he's pitching, and we don't eat or drink until after he's done pitching, but our nerves are a little up as well.
Well, Marcus starred at Tennessee. You played in the minor leagues for several years and then coached for a long time. What have you instilled in him and taught him about playing at the next level?
I think the biggest thing is just understanding the grind. It's a different ball game than college in that you're playing basically every day. You have a day off once every couple of weeks, but otherwise it's a daily grind with your preparation, with the start of your day with weightlifting, with batting practice, bullpens, and all of those things. And once you get used to that grind, for someone like him who loves the game and loves everything that builds up to the game, I think it will be a great system for him because he likes everything involved in baseball. So, but it is going to take some getting used to.
What's the feeling going to be like when he gets that phone call and hears his name called?
Well, it'll be back to excitement and probably a little bit of relief at that point because our nerves can kind of calm down and we know that he's finally gotten drafted.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. We're looking forward to hearing Marcus's name called.
And of course, he was picked for the Boston Red Sox. Congratulations to Marcus. And still to come on Inside the Newsroom, we are looking at the thousands that attended a music festival over the weekend in Sioux Falls and how our reporter got on the field footage. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. Organizers estimated about 10,000 people gathered at Great Bear Ski Valley for the Lallycooler Music Festival this weekend. Jordan DeSmit reports.
The Great Bear parking lot was lined with food trucks, so to get to the show, fans had to board buses away from the venue.
Well, I think it's probably the best idea about the event.
I'm a lot less worried about parking than I thought I was going to be.
Once they got there, they were treated to an exciting show at a one-of-a-kind location.
The venue here is so unique. The hills, the hiking trails, it's like Red Rocks except green hills. And it's a natural amphitheater.
Washington Pavilion Management Company CEO Darren Smith says the event has attracted big crowds.
Last night, kicking it off was awesome. We had thousands of people out here. But tonight, the audience will be at least 2 times more. We have several thousand people coming tonight. We sold out the pit. We sold out the Ultra VIPs.
Acts like Corey and the Fireflies and Frank Ray all gave great performances, but for some fans, there was one man in particular they couldn't wait to see.
We heard Pitbull was going to be here, and we were sold. I think it's crazy. I was baffled when I found out that Pitbull was going to be in Sioux Falls.
And fans hope that Lallycooler is here to stay.
I think it's amazing that we're having this event, and I hope it continues.
I think it's really good that Sioux Falls is able to have a big event, and I hope it gets bigger as the years go on.
All to give people another reason to go to Great Bear.
Jordan, that looked like a lot of fun to go out to Great Bear and see Lallycooler. How did you think of all the music before Pitbull showed up?
It was fun. I think a lot of people, even before Pitbull was there, were having a great time, and I was pretty impressed with the acts that were there when I was there. So.
Were you impressed by all the people that dressed up as Pitbull?
That was something I wasn't expecting to see. I mean, I saw a lot of guys. I saw a lot of girls with ball caps on and fake mustaches and fake facial hair. I'm like, was not expecting that. This is what we're dealing with, yeah.
This is the great act. Well, Jordan, it's really cool to be out at Lallycooler. What was something that surprised you while you were out there?
I would say for me, I think so. There were some question marks around the shuttle service that took you there, but I'll have to say I took it myself. It was pretty efficient, and it didn't take long for a bus to pull up, and for when I left, it didn't take long for a bus to pull up to take me back. And so I think it was smart too. I think for anyone that maybe was drinking alcoholic beverages, maybe it encouraged them to not drive home. So I think it was a good idea for them to do that.
Good. I'm glad that went pretty smoothly then. While you were out there at Lallycooler, were you by yourself while you were reporting, or did you have a photojournalist with you?
I was by myself. So I was running around, and credit the pavilion staff. Their media person did come up to me, and they actually drove me around a little bit. So that was really helpful. But yeah, for the most part, I was by myself.
What did you want to gather visually while you were out there? Were you hoping to get, because obviously your story was about the size of the crowd, so did you want to get as many people as possible, or were you focused on getting those individual people and seeing that kind of visual? What was your goal in mind?
I would say my goal was, like you said, to show what kind of crowd was there. And I think you saw a couple shots where I was up on the hill and I got a big overlooking shot of the crowd. I thought that was really cool. But you also need some close-ups in your story. You need to make sure that it's not all wide shot. So I wanted to find some individual people that were maybe having a good time and that sort of thing. So I wanted to show, yes, there's a crowd there even hours before Pitbull was on, and also that people were even liking those acts before Pitbull.
And like talking about that hill that you found to get that overhead shot, was that something that you knew about, or did you have to kind of like scope out your scene and find that spot to get that wide shot.
I think part of it also was the Washington Pavilion staff were like, hey, we can bring you up there. I'm like, ooh, that might be a really cool visual. And you saw in that package, Darren Smith, the CEO of the pavilion, said, oh, well, the people love the landscape. They love the green hill. So I think that was like, oh, that'd be a perfect shot to put over that soundbite. And so that's another reason why I made sure I was up there.
How often do you see this for your type of reporting where the interviewee kind of helps guide you for the story, whether it's something for the shot or the specific angle of the story?
And I would say this is why it's important, why I try to do my interviews first, because a lot of times I get my B-roll based on what the interviewees tell me, right? So I heard that shot and I'm like, oh, then I definitely got to get a shot of the hills and to show the landscape and that sort of thing. So, So that's another thing that goes into stories is that you have to make sure you're listening to the interviewee, so you make sure you get decent footage to cover what they're saying.
Because one thing we learned, Jordan, is that you got to write your story to the visual that you see on the screen. And that's kind of exactly what we have here when you get so many people out and about on a great weekend event like this, especially music. Did you dance at all? Were you dancing out there?
I wouldn't call myself a dancer. I think people might have been a little shocked and appalled if I would have tried to dance. So it was probably best that I did not do that. So I also had to make sure I got my story done. So I didn't really have a lot of time to do that.
Well, one thing about this story, too, is you had a lot of sound from different people. Was it pretty easy to gather some people around that wanted to talk to you?
Yeah, you saw those, like, we call them MOS people, man on the street, where we just kind of grab random people. You saw 3 different MOSs, and I was 3 for 3. Those were the first 3 people that I saw and I grabbed. And I think a story like this where they're going to have a good time and going to a concert, it's a lot easier to get people to talk about, oh, this is a fun event. We're looking forward to having a lot of fun. So,
Jordan, is there anything else that you'd like to say about this story, whether it's getting those visuals or just having a great time or anything at all that you think our viewers should know?
I would say I just love doing stories like this where I can cover an event and I told a couple people out there, man, I got paid to go to a concert. So it was fun. I had a lot of fun. These are stories that I really like to cover. And
we love watching them. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
And stick around for Inside the Newsroom. Welcome back, and that's all the time that we have today for Inside the Newsroom, but stick around on KELOLAND Plus because we're not done with our special programming just yet. We're having our show Weather or Not with meteorologist Scott Munt as he talks about severe weather outlook for this week, as he talks about all the forecasting details that you need. There's always something to learn with Weather or Not. Whether or not, it's about weather. It's a lot of fun to watch this show and see Scott and Brian Carsons talk about the weather. Brian's gone for this week, so it'll just be Scott for now, but you can watch Scott give all that information up next on Weather or Not. And then we'll see you for Inside the Newsroom tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Inside the Newsroom airs Mondays through Fridays at 1, so it's always fun to see each other daily, right? And then tonight at 6:30, we have Eye on KELOLAND Rewind, where we put all 6 Eye on KELOLAND stories in one spot for you to watch. Again, that's at 6:30. So we'll see you then. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Inside the Newsroom. Until next time, have a great day, everyone.